But I would say it's probably a combination of the estrogen component and maybe the progesterone. Doubling the progesterone might be holding on to a little bit of water weight. But I wouldn't say it's necessarily the testosterone. I haven't had too many women just all of a sudden, gain, like she said, what was it, 11 pounds, 10 pounds in 11 days?
Oh,
Gained 10 pounds in 11 days on hormone therapy. So what happened? Hi, I'm Dr. Valorie Davidson, and welcome to the Progress Your Health podcast. I'm here with Dr. Maki, and we do have a quiz. If you're not sure if you're in perimenopause, menopause, or an in-betweener, you can take our quiz at myhormonequiz.com. But today we're going to talk about a question from Mary.
Like always, we got this question again from Ask the Doctor on our website. So this one, she's, like you said, some people can need and can tolerate a whole bunch of estrogen, and other people, can't tolerate as much. So why don't you go ahead and read the question?
All right, so from Mary, we do change everybody's names for to be anonymous. So here we go, from Mary. I'm working with a holistic doctor here, and I'm not sure of his method. I'm on 200 milligrams of oral progesterone, 3 clicks, which is 3/4 a gram, 2 times a day of a 2.5 50-50 ratio biased cream, and 2 clicks, a half a gram, once a day of a 10 milligram testosterone cream. I have gained 10 pounds in 11 days, and I'm miserable. The weight is in my abdomen and now my legs and thighs. What's wrong? He said to wait it out, which I can't do. None of my clothes suddenly fit me, and I'm panicked and uncomfortable. Any tips? I was on 100 milligrams of oral progesterone alone for 6 weeks up until 227 when he doubled my progesterone and then added in the biased cream and the testosterone cream. Any tips?
Well, there's, like you said, there's quite a few variables there. I have my opinions, and I know you have yours, and we're sort of on the same page as far as that goes. So where do you think, what should be picked apart first?
Well, definitely, when we're thinking about, a human, I'm always kind of thinking about their equation. So when you change a variable in their equation and you have a reaction, we want to be able to, that's why a lot of times with patients, I may not change too many things all at once, because then if you have a positive reaction or a negative reaction, you're not exactly sure where that's coming from. But for this, there was 3 variables changed. And what's interesting on this question with Mary compared to our previous podcast is there's some women that really do well on a lot of estradiol.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they're putting on lots of estradiol. They do great. You bring it back a little bit and they don't do well. But then there's some people that don't do well on estradiol or biased or too much cream. This isn't a lot of cream that she's using, but I would say it's probably a combination of the estrogen component and maybe the progesterone. Doubling the progesterone might be holding on to a little bit of water weight. But I wouldn't say it's necessarily the testosterone. I haven't had too many women just all of a sudden, gain, like she said, what was it, 11 pounds, 10 pounds in 11 days?
Well, from the timing of it, so today is the middle of March. She was on it, started the progesterone at 227, so the end of February. So it's been a little bit longer than 11 days, which is where she said she gained that weight, as the progesterone was increased, and then he added in the biased and the testosterone. So there's 3 big changes there all at once, which, to your point, adding the doubling the progesterone, adding in the testosterone, and then increasing the bias or adding in the bias all at once. So granted, this is not for, we can't give any medical advice. Obviously, we can't, give too much specific direction on dosing, but this is for educational purposes. So how would you sort of adjust this one?
Well, looking at it, it's trying to, sort of picking it apart, is I really feel like it's probably the estrogen component, not the progesterone, because she was already on 100 milligrams of oral progesterone. That going up to 200, I wouldn't say that would necessarily cause a bunch of weight gain all at once, fairly quickly. But with her, and like we were saying, with her bias dose, it's not very high. She's on 2.5 milligrams of bias. A 50-50 ratio means there's 50% estriol and 50% estradiol. So that technically is, that 2.5. She's doing 3 clicks, which is 3/4 a gram. So when we did the math, that she's technically in the morning doing 1.875 milligrams of the biased, which equals 0.9375 of estriol and 0.9375 of estradiol. If any of you want to know the exact math, but she's taking that twice a day. That's not a lot of estrogen, but I do have a handful of patients that really do have a reaction to, and I think it's more the estradiol. Like, for example, I'm thinking of another patient that I've been treating this last year, and I have her on such a small amount of Biest because when we did a little bit of a, even kind of a, I guess I would consider this more of a small amount of estrogen. She did gain 9 pounds, like, and I've seen that over the course of my career. And just like this, Mary is saying, is you don't want to wait it out because nobody wants to feel, all uncomfortable in their clothes and wondering, is this going to go away or is it just going to get worse? So I think it's more the estrogen component rather than the progesterone component.
Well, I sort of I agree with you for sure. I agree, but I also do think changing those other two or adding those other two variables all at once. I think the progesterone, if he just raised it, like you said before, just for uterine protection, but there's no reason to raise it. I think she should go back to, at least temporarily, I think she should go back to 100 milligrams. And the testosterone, you and I typically wait on testosterone. We don't usually do progesterone, estrogen, and testosterone all at once. We usually do an estrogen, progesterone first, make sure they're stable and they're feeling fine, and then adding in, because she went from nothing to 5 milligrams of testosterone. I mean, it is a powerful steroid, and it's going to create some water retention, which the progesterone can certainly do as well. So I think it's a combination of all three of those.
Yeah, all the variables that are interacting, creating the sum of the equation. Usually with testosterone, you're right, it is a steroid. They're all steroid hormones that they can cause that water weight. So I will say, Mary, it will be temporary, but there is, we want to reverse that. A lot of times with the testosterone, you're right, I kind of think of that as like the accoutrements, like we get the base first, and then you add like the frosting to the cake.
Testosterone is a really powerful hormone. And for a woman, a little bit goes a long way. I know there's some talk on social media that starting at 5 milligrams is a good starting point, but I think it should be a little bit lower than that.
Yeah, working your way in. I always feel like it's better to do less and work your way up than do too much of something. What I'll notice more with the testosterone is breakouts.
Yeah, sure.
So they'll get breakouts or maybe even a little bit of dark hair or a little hair loss too, especially in the temples. You'll see like it'll going that fast can sometimes just start a shed phase, and nobody wants that.
Yeah. Usually the testosterone is, like you said, it's going to be more, cosmetic tolerance. Is your skin going to be able to handle it? But that's why we've always been a little conservative on the testosterone, at least in the beginning, and they can work themselves into a higher dose. 2 to 5 milligrams for a woman is pretty reasonable, but you and I typically don't start at 5 milligrams. We'd start a little bit lower.
And, when you're thinking about somebody that might be sensitive to estrogen, you do want to go low, and then you have to consider testosterone can aromatize to estrogen. So this 5 milligrams of testosterone, while it's not, ginormously high compared to what you would give a man, it could still be converting over to that estradiol. And then that could be having some, some contributing factors here with that weight gain.
Just, from a water, 11 pounds in, 10 pounds in 11 days. That's
a lot.
To me, that sounds just like water retention. That doesn't sound like actual body fat, because these hormones, really are not conducive to fat storage, but water retention, absolutely, especially 10 pounds in 11 days. As the progesterone dose increased and the testosterone is added in, and adding in that bias to sort of three really powerful things all at once. Now, what do you think about the idea of actually waiting it out? His suggestion was just to wait it out, which, no offense, but a very typical man recommendation.
Yeah, I kind of agree with Mary. I wouldn't want to wait it out. I know it might be water weight, but 10 pounds is 10 pounds. And when your pants feel tight, that's very uncomfortable. And now she's feeling it in her hips and her thighs. That's kind of triggering. So I would probably back off a little bit. I would put the testosterone on the back burner so we can put that variable to the side.
Right.
And then I would definitely, and I'm sure the doctor probably doubled that progesterone based on her having a uterus, because you want to protect that uterine lining. And then there's some talk about, because I have a lot of women that their uterine lining is protected just fine at 100 milligrams. But then I have a lot of women that it's not protected and they start getting spotting, and that we have to go up. I wouldn't say I'd go from 100 to 200. It might have just been easier for the patient because you got one capsule of 100, just take 2. Or a lot of times I might go from 100 to 125 to 150, maybe even add a separate capsule to put on top.
Yeah.
So I probably would have gone a little slower with that progesterone. Maybe went to maybe 125 And then if she was maybe having some spotting or some bleeding and it felt warranted.
Well, and now what I like to know is how long she was on the 100 milligrams for.
It looks like it says 6 weeks.
Oh, is it 6 weeks?
Six,
Okay.
Yeah, 6 weeks.
Yeah, 6 weeks. But then you doubling it. Why would the doctor have doubled it? Unless, look at what you're saying, if there's a specific reason for doubling it, or if he just doubled it just to do something.
To protect the uterine lining because he's
Well, no,
giving
I
her
understand that part, but
estrogen.
that's not. If she hadn't had any spotting or bleeding, then that's not the right reason to raise it, right? I think that keeping it at 100, unless she needs it to go up, as she's acclimating, and then, like you said, kind of slowing down or holding off on the testosterone. Once she's actually feeling good or feeling better, then you add in the testosterone.
I think some people, they want to jump at the deep end or give me some hormones and this is going to make, my life all magical. When really I do feel like going a little low and slow. Like why do 3/4 of the 2.5 milligrams? They could even done 1 click, a 1/4 gram twice a day, and then wait a week and then go up to a 1/2 gram twice a day.
Yeah.
And then maybe 3/4 of a gram or a full gram. So you can just kind of monitor, because I do like blood work, but we also want to monitor their symptoms too. And 10 pounds is a pretty big symptom.
Sure. Well, she didn't say what she went in for, like what her main complaints for in the first place, which when you're putting the prescription together initially, that does dictate, what you're going to do and how much you're going to do. The severity of those symptoms, are we talking some minor symptoms, some moderate symptoms, or some really significant symptoms? That's going to, determine how quickly things sort of get adopted and ramped up. But even still, even when you're doing that, when you don't know the person, the patient, you still have to sort of start at a fairly conservative level and then work your way up from there.
Yeah, especially if they've never been on HRT or any kind of estradiol or estriol or biased. Yeah. If someone's coming from a patch, let's say they were already on some HRT, maybe a patch or a different type, and you're changing it, that's a different story. You might need to go up a little bit higher, but I think maybe it just might have been a little bit too much all at once.
Yeah.
To make a long answer short or a short answer long. It was just too much all at once.
Just too much all at once. Just cut it back. But that is where the finesse part comes in, because you cannot predict what woman is going to do well on a particular dose and what woman isn't going to do well on a particular dose. It is it is a little bit of I wouldn't say guessing game, right? Because there's a lot of experience that goes into starting someone somewhere. Because from a practitioner perspective, you want them to get off on the right foot. You want them to feel good as quickly as possible. But there is a process there that we've always gone through, that you start them here and they end up over here somewhere, but there's usually some changes that go in between.
Just like, I don't know if you listeners have listened to the previous podcast, I think a couple before this one on Carrie. So Carrie was putting on a lot of estradiol patches.
Yeah,
and when she was backing down on that, she was getting headaches and joint pain. And so she did really well with more estradiol, where it looks like, Mary probably does better with less. And I know everyone wants the bone and the brain and the heart protection, which you can still do, but it still needs to be tailored to that individual, to that patient.
Sure.
I will say just what you were talking to earlier is a lot of times I'll ask women, like, what were your periods like when you were getting periods? Were they really heavy? Were they, would you notice any changes in your weight over your 28-day cycle? So women that you can tell that maybe they were more estrogen dominant in their youth, then that they might be a little bit more sensitive. Everybody's a little bit different. Like, oh, I gained weight, my luteal phase or my follicular phase or during ovulation. People will say that, and if they can remember, and that can kind of give you a little insight into where you want to start on that estrogen.
Yeah. Because all that, certainly does matter. Gives you an idea of their sensitivity. If they're used to, having heavier periods or lighter periods, and that gives you an idea of where you're. Now, granted, back to the dosing, 2.5 milligrams as a base prescription, that really isn't, that isn't really a high dose. You would think right off the bat that would be fairly well tolerated. That's why I was looking at more at the potential culprit of starting at 5 milligrams of testosterone. As opposed to me starting with 1. I know in the past you and I have even started people at a 0.5 milligram, 1 milligram, 2 milligrams, and then work your way up from there. 5 is a good ending point, but maybe not for every woman being a good starting point.
Yeah, depending on if somebody were prone to acne, like, oh, I got lots of pimples when I was younger, then you might go a little slower. So I totally agree. You know, it's much easier to go low and slow and work your way and have that progression than just, you know, and we're like for Carrie, she'd probably take this biased and be like, this is nothing. This is moisturizer
Right.
because she's, you know, everybody is different.
Yeah, you couldn't go from, comparing those two. Carrie, that's using 4 patches a week, to 2.5 milligrams of biased. She'd feel a lot worse on that, because that would be definitely going backwards. Because that, that's where the numbers really don't match up. You can't compare the 2.5 milligrams of biased with, 1 or 2 or 4 patches of the estradiol patch, because those numbers just don't match up.
It's like
very
apples
well.
and oranges, but that's for another podcast, I
Yeah,
think.
which
to
I know we've
explain.
talked about many times, but so this one, just kind of ease into it. Hopefully that will let go some of that water retention. It's more than likely, as I said, not body fat. It's more likely just just body water retention, as opposed to actual fat storage. But hopefully she's able to trim that down relatively quickly. Anything else to add? Are we good with Mary?
I think we're good.
Okay, till next time. I'm Dr. Maki.
And I'm Dr. Valorie.
Take care. Bye-bye.